All right, let's unpack this. Imagine this little musk deer searching its whole life for some amazing scent, right?
Yeah.
Only to figure out eventually that the scent was coming from itself the whole time.
Ah, okay. I like that.
What if you listening are kind of like that deer? What if everything you actually need for a really wonderful, healthy, happy life is, well, already inside you?
Hmm.
And what if there was a practice, pretty simple really, but deep, that could help you finally tap into that? Feel recharged, pain-free, happier, maybe even in just a few minutes a day.
That's a really powerful image.
Right.
And it sets up our deep dive perfectly today.
Right.
We're digging into source material from one of our listeners. It's a guide called Just Do Yoga by Julie Schoen.
And it sounds like it's more than just poses, right? The author shares her own story.
Oh, definitely. It's really personal.
Yeah.
She talks about finding yoga after a pretty serious accident when she was just 17. Yeah. And it wasn't just about fixing a broken body. It was healing a battered mind, too. It actually became this whole lifestyle change that really transformed, well, who she is.
Okay, so that leads us right into our mission for this deep dive then.
Exactly. We want to explore this guide and pull out the really practical, actionable ways that suggest yoga can tackle some of those common things we all face.
Like what specifically?
Well, struggling with sleep, feeling stressed out all the time, those aches and pains maybe from sitting at a desk, and just that basic desire to feel, well, fit and good in your own skin.
Gotcha. So we're mining it for the key insights, the takeaways for you listening.
That's the plan, extracting the gold from this source.
So that author story, finding yoga after an accident, that sounds pretty profound.
It really stands out. The guide emphasizes it wasn't just like a physical rehab thing. She credits yoga with fundamentally changing who she became for the better. Well, it taught her to slow down, to actually be present in the moment. And she found that perspective incredibly helpful later on when she became a new mom.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so it wasn't some quick fix. It was a real shift, helping her heal emotionally and mentally, not just physically.
And that connects back to the musk deer idea.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
The guide's core philosophy, if you like, is that we often spend so much energy searching outside ourselves for happiness, fulfillment, whatever it is.
Looking for that external scent.
Exactly. When the source, that beautiful scent, is actually within us all along. So yoga, in this view, isn't about getting something new.
It's about seeing what's already there.
Precisely. It helps you learn how to see and tap into the strength, the greatness you already possess. So your body and mind can kind of rest from that constant searching.
That sounds less exhausting.
It does, doesn't it? It's about cultivating that inner awareness. And the benefits the guide lists right up front are honestly pretty broad, almost audacious, you might say.
Like what?
Feeling recharged, being free from aches and pains, better mood, maybe weight loss support, more flexibility, strength, potentially all in just minutes a day.
Minutes a day? Really?
That's what it claims. And a key point the guide really hammers home is that it works for everyone. Doesn't matter where you are, your physical shape, if you've done yoga before or not.
That accessibility is a big deal.
Huge.
Okay, so let's start where the day starts. Mornings. The guide seems big on morning yoga. Why is that supposed to be so important?
Yeah, it really champions starting the day with practice. The source makes a strong case that it basically sets the tone for your entire day.
How so?
Well, think about it. Instead of, immediately diving into emails or the commute, feeling stiff or already stressed.
Which is easy to do.
Totally. Carving out even just a few minutes helps you work out those physical kinks before they become real problems. And it focuses your mind on the present moment before the day's anxieties pile on.
So it's like a proactive defense against stress and negativity.
That's exactly how it's presented. Avoid carrying that stuff into the rest of your day.
Okay, but let's be real. For a lot of people, myself included sometimes, the hardest part isn't doing the yoga. It's literally just dragging yourself out of bed earlier. Does the guide talk about that struggle?
Oh, absolutely. It tackles that directly. It frames waking up early for yoga not just as, like, sheer willpower,
Right.
but as needing a clear purpose and a positive mindset. You need to consciously define why you're doing it. What's the positive feeling you're aiming for? How great will you feel after?
So it's not just, I should wake up early. It's, I'm waking up early because it makes me feel X.
Exactly. Your mind needs that compelling why to fight the urge to hit snooze. Just saying you'll do it often isn't enough motivation.
Makes sense. It's the mental game first. But are there any, concrete tips for the actual alarm clock battle?
Yes. thankfully. Some really practical stuff, like maybe don't set your alarm super loud so you're not jolted awake into instant stress.
Good point.
Or place the alarm far enough away that you physically have to get out of bed to turn it off.
The classic move. Maybe right next to your yoga mat.
That's a great idea the guide suggests. A visual cue. It also talks about visualization the night before. Picture yourself waking up energized, rolling out your mat easily, feeling amazing afterward.
Getting your mind on board beforehand.
Aligning your intention, yeah.
And I guess, like anything worthwhile, consistency is probably mentioned as being pretty important here.
Oh, it's paramount. The guide really stresses that the more consistent you are, the deeper the benefits go. It stops being this thing you try to squeeze in.
And becomes just part of the routine.
Exactly, like brushing your teeth. Essential, almost non-negotiable. And there's even this kind of counterintuitive point it makes.
Oh.
That on days when you feel tired, or maybe a bit under the weather, skipping might seem logical. But often, some gentle movement and breath is actually exactly what your body needs to feel better, not worse.
Interesting. Okay, speaking of feeling tired, let's shift to something huge. Sleep deprivation. And just the constant stress of modern life. The guide tackles this too.
It really does. And it lays out some, frankly, eye-opening stats. Like 15% of Americans dealing with chronic insomnia.
15%.
Yeah, and nearly 40% struggling with it at some point in the given year. But even beyond clinical insomnia, so many people just complain about feeling unrested, you know.
Definitely.
And the guide is crystal clear. Sleep is not a luxury. It's absolutely fundamental.
And the list of benefits it gives for getting enough sleep, it's pretty extensive.
It really makes you pause. It covers so much.
Yeah.
Better mood, better relationships, work performance.
Okay.
Looking and feeling younger because your cells actually repair.
Yeah.
Improving memory, cognitive function, reducing inflammation, linked to really serious stuff like heart disease, diabetes.
Wow.
Boosting creativity, helping with weight loss by regulating appetite hormones, lowering overall stress, heart disease risk, improving safety like driving safety.
That's huge.
Boosting your immune system, helping your body repair and heal itself. I mean, it's hard to find an area of life that good sleep doesn't positively impact.
So if it's that critical, why are so many of us finding it so hard to get enough? The guide points a finger somewhere specific.
It does. And it probably won't surprise you. Modern technology and just constant stimulation.
The phones, the screens, the 24/7 news cycle.
All of it. It argues this is constantly overloading our sympathetic nervous system. You know, the fight or flight response.
Right.
Our ancestors, they'd use that burst of energy to like run from a tiger and then they could actually relax. But we're just bombarded all day.
With no tiger to run from.
Exactly. No physical release. So that sympathetic system just stays on. It creates this state of hyperarousal that makes it incredibly difficult to unwind, quiet your mind, and actually fall asleep.
And we often make it worse, don't we? Scrolling right before bed.
Totally. We seek more stimulation, ironically, when we need less.
Which is where yoga comes in as a way to break that cycle.
Precisely. The guide highlights how yoga teaches you to cultivate presence, to consciously turn off those external inputs and shift your focus inward.
Learning to tune out the noise.
Yeah. And in doing that, it helps you learn to override that overactive sympathetic system and bring the parasympathetic nervous system online. That's your rest and digest system, the relaxation response.
Right.
And the guide makes a crucial point. You can only achieve that deep, truly restful sleep state when the parasympathetic system is actually in charge.
So it's not just about tired muscles, it's about shifting your whole nervous system state.
That's the core idea. Yoga, meditation, focused breathing. They're all presented as tools to consciously, deliberately coax out that relaxation response.
Are there other practical tips for sleep in the guide?
Yes, definitely. Things like establishing a really consistent, calming bedtime routine.
Yeah.
Making the hour before bed a stimulant-free zone, so no TV, computers, caffeine, alcohol.
Easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. But crucial, it argues. And also, using your breath as an anchor when your mind is racing with worry or stress. The guide points out those thoughts are usually about the past or the future, right? Not the present. Breathing brings you back to the now.
That makes sense. Does it suggest specific types of yoga or poses for evening?
It does suggest listening to your body first and foremost. For some, a very, very gentle flow might feel good. But for most people, aiming for better sleep.
Yeah.
Gentler styles are usually best. Things like restorative yoga or sequences where you hold poses longer, passively. The key is generally to avoid anything that builds too much internal heat or requires intense physical effort right before bed.
Right, you don't want to get energized just as you're trying to wind down.
Exactly. Don't rev the engine when you're trying to park the car.
Okay, so beyond sleep and stress, the guide makes another connection that might seem less obvious. Yoga and boosting your immune system.
Yeah, this section is really fascinating. Gets into the lymphatic system.
Okay, what's the deal with that?
So it's part of your circulatory system, like your blood vessels. But here's the key difference. Your heart pumps your blood, right?
Right.
The lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump. It relies entirely on you moving your body. Its job is basically waste removal, cleaning up pathogens, disorganized cells, all that stuff. Lymph fluid flows from your arms and legs inward towards your core. It passes through lymph nodes. You have clusters in your neck, armpits, groin.
I felt those when I'm sick.
Exactly. That's where the bad stuff gets filtered out and destroyed. Then the clean fluid drains back into your bloodstream. But if that system gets sluggish, if the fluid doesn't move and drain properly, well, you get sick more easily.
So yoga helps move the lymph fluid. It acts like a pump.
That's precisely the idea presented in the guide. The movements in yoga, contracting and releasing muscles, compressing and expanding tissues, especially around those areas with lymph nodes.
It mimics the pumping action the system lacks on its own.
Exactly. It helps push the lymph fluid along, improving that whole waste removal process, getting pathogens out more efficiently.
Interesting. The guide also mentions skin and movement being important for immunity, too.
Yes, that's another key insight from the source. Yoga stretches the skin, which helps keep it elastic. Apparently, rigid or tight skin, which can happen from stress or being cold, can actually block or hinder lymphatic drainage.
Wow, I never thought about skin tightness affecting lymph flow.
Me neither, but it makes sense. And the guide connects this to broader well-being, too. Being relaxed, happy, generally active, all these things boost immunity. Conversely, chronic stress, fear, anger, they cause that physical tension and rigidity.
Making you more susceptible.
Right. Getting too cold is also mentioned as bad for lymph nodes and skin elasticity.
Does the guide suggest specific types of yoga sequences for immune support?
It mentions practices that promote stretching and maybe generate a little bit of gentle internal heat, as warmth is apparently good for lymph node function.
Okay.
And versions get to mention poses where your legs are higher than your head, like legs up the wall pose, or maybe a gentle shoulder stand if it's in your practice.
Inversion.
Gravity. It helps the lymph fluid drain upwards from your legs and arms back towards the core. Twists are also good, as are poses where you gently compress and release areas of the body. It's described as helping to irrigate the lymph flow.
Like squeezing a sponge?
Kind of, yeah.
Does it mention any other, maybe more traditional immune boosters?
Briefly, yes. Things like using a neti pot for nasal irrigation, clearing out sinuses. It names a couple of specific acupressure points, like the thymus reset or elegant mansion, points around the collarbones believed in some traditions to stimulate immune function. And it lists some common herbs and supplements, echinacea, garlic, ginger, turmeric. But, and this is crucial, the guide stresses you should always do your own research and absolutely talk to a qualified healthcare practitioner before trying herbs or supplements.
Good disclaimer. And it's striking how stress keeps popping up again, first with sleep, now immunity.
It's definitely a central villain in the guide's narrative of modern health challenges. Stress is explicitly linked to weakening the immune system and causing that physical rigidity in the skin, making you more vulnerable.
So yoga helps on both fronts, calming the mind and loosening the body.
That's the connection it makes. Cultivating calmer states of mind and reducing physical tension directly supports your body's built-in defenses.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Another modern reality. Office life. The sitting, the aches. The guide talks about this.
Oh yeah. It does not hold back on the topic of the office chair.
Uh-oh.
It basically argues that chairs were absolutely not designed with long-term human anatomy in mind. Sitting for hours forces your body into misalignment. Shoulders hunch forward, the low back collapses, hips get super tight, leg muscles shorten.
Sounds familiar.
Right. And this posture isn't just uncomfortable. The guide links it directly to back pain and even increased risk for serious health issues, obesity, chronic diseases, maybe even a shorter lifespan.
Yikes. And I think I saw something in there debunking the idea that you can just fix hours of sitting with one gym session later.
Exactly. It flat out says you cannot undo the negative effects of sitting for 8, 9, 10 hours with just one workout before or after. Your body just doesn't compensate like that over time.
So if one big workout isn't the magic bullet, what does the guide suggest?
Frequent movement.
Yeah.
That's the key takeaway here. Little bits, often.
Not like what?
Well, the source actually mentions research, like studies on something called thermogenesis,
Hmm.
basically showing that even small movements help. Simple stretches at your desk, getting up to walk for a minute, even just tapping your feet.
Really?
Tapping your feet.
Apparently. It helps keep your metabolism ticking over and fights that stagnation from just sitting still. So intentional yoga helps mitigate the damage and actively improves posture.
How can someone realistically fit yoga into a workday, though?
The guide offers some practical ideas, maybe a short flow before work to loosen up hips, shoulders, spine before you sit down.
Then finding moments during the day. Even discrete stretches you can do at your desk, or standing up during a break. Use those breaks. Stand, stretch, walk around.
And maybe something after work, too.
Yeah, a post-work flow to release all the tension that built up. The guide even suggests considering swapping your chair for an exercise ball sometimes.
Oh, interesting. To engage the core.
Exactly. Improve posture, strengthen your core while you're working.
What about other office issues like carpal tunnel?
It touches on that too.
Mm.
Regular stretching for the wrists, hands, and fingers is highlighted as really key for prevention. It mentions there are specific stretches for that.
And there was that interesting point about sitting making you tired. Feels backward, right?
It does. But the guide explains it simply. Lack of movement signals to your brain that it's time to power down, basically. Time to rest or sleep, so you feel fatigued.
Even if your brain is busy.
Right. So the solution, move. Even a little bit helps wake the system back up. Oh, and it briefly notes that standing all day has its own set of challenges too, and suggests some yoga poses like bow pose or legs up the wall can help with posture, tired legs, or swelling from standing jobs.
Oh, okay. Let's talk fitness. A lot of people exercise to get fit, toned, feel more confident. Can yoga actually deliver that look?
The source says yes, definitely, but with some important caveats.
Okay.
While some yoga is purely relaxing, the guide asserts that yoga can build a strong, toned body. If you do it correctly, put in the effort, and are consistent. It argues yoga hits muscles in ways weights might miss, using body weight and isometric holds.
But there's always a but.
But, crucially, exercise is only one piece of the puzzle. The source is very direct about diet.
Ah, yes. Diet.
You can't out-exercise a bad diet, basically. It uses the phrase, if you eat junk, you'll look like junk. Simple as that. It does acknowledge that eating habits are tricky, tied up with emotions and routines.
Definitely a challenge for many. Did it offer any specific eating tips? I remember one surprising one.
Oh yeah, the chewing tip. Chew your food really slowly. The guide suggests aiming for like 30 chews per bite.
30. That's a lot.
It is. But the reasoning is twofold. One, it helps you tune into your body's actual fullness signals, potentially preventing overeating or mindless snacking.
Makes sense.
And two, the practical effect. The guide argues that if you choose something less healthy that thoroughly, you really taste it, and it might actually become less appealing.
Huh. Interesting psychological trick. Any other food nuggets?
It mentions fat-burning foods, things like dark leafy greens, broccoli, quinoa, grapefruit. And there was that specific insider tip about dairy,
Oh, yeah.
avoiding products labeled fat-free.
Hmm.
The argument presented is that removing the fat lets the natural sugars hit your bloodstream faster, which can signal your body to store fat. It suggests maybe opting for 2% dairy instead if you eat dairy.
Interesting nuance. And how does the guide connect physical fitness back to the spine again?
It states pretty clearly that the spine is fundamental to your overall look, to achieving what it calls swimsuit model posture. Energetically, it mentions Sushumna, that central channel, linked to the chakras or energy centers. But physically, a strong, flexible spine creates length, good alignment. It just changes how you carry yourself. So yoga, by strengthening and mobilizing the spine, directly contributes to that fit, confident appearance.
Does it give examples of poses for specific areas, like arms, abs, legs?
It does. It lists types of poses and sequences. For arms, it mentions things like walking plank or that tough one, chaturanga.
Oh, yeah. Chaturanga's hard.
Totally. Build up to it. For abs, sun salutations get a nod for cardio, plus various core exercises, and one called elevator pose, described as pretty intense.
Elevator pose.
For legs, standing poses like Warrior Two are great for building long, strong muscles. For the glutes, things like goddess pose or low lunge, but it really emphasizes proper form and gradual progression. And it notes that real core strength relies heavily on having strong back muscles too.
Which brings us nicely to what the guide presents as maybe the most critical piece of all. The spine itself, calling it your lifeline to health and happiness.
Yeah, it really elevates the spine beyond just, bones holding you up. Anatomically, it's complex, the curves, the discs, protecting the spinal cord, which is the brain-body superhighway.
Right.
But then there's the energetic view, too. Susumna, the main channel, linked to those chakras or energy centers. The guide argues that any kinks or blockages there, physically or energetically, affect both your physical health and your mental state.
And the author's personal story really drives that home, doesn't it?
It really does. She talks about how her serious back injury coincided with a period of depression, and how healing her back through yoga was intrinsically linked to finding happiness again.
So the idea is, if that communication highway is blocked,
the mind can feel disconnected, leading to stress, feeling overwhelmed, maybe even depression. That's the connection the source makes.
So working on spine health through yoga isn't just about preventing back pain, it's vital for emotional balance too.
Absolutely. The guide really emphasizes that yoga helps by moving the spine in ways it doesn't normally move, getting it out of its comfort zone to improve strength, flexibility, and length, literally creating space along that highway.
What about common back pain culprits, like sitting? Does the guide offer specific yoga solutions?
Sitting gets called out again big time. Tight hips from sitting, pull the spine out of whack, the low back collapses.
Yeah.
Yoga helps by increasing hip flexibility and strength.
Yeah.
And by teaching you awareness, like consciously lifting your hip points to keep length in the low back. Tight shoulders are another one. They pull the upper spine forward. Loosening them releases tension right down the back.
What if you feel pain after doing yoga for your back? Is that normal soreness or something else?
The guide addresses that distinction. Some muscle stiffness or mild soreness the next day, that's described as normal, especially if you're using muscles differently, it means you're getting stronger. But sharp pain, shooting pain, that's a red flag. That means you likely overdid it, used poor form, or maybe aggravated something. The absolute key message is, listen to your body. Don't push through sharp pain just to look like someone else or force a pose.
Good advice. What about back popping during yoga, like in a twist?
The guide says that's usually fine, normal even. It's often just a release of gas or pressure in the joint, like cracking your knuckles. Nothing to worry about unless it comes with pain.
Gotcha. Any tips for making twists more comfortable then? Sometimes they feel constricted.
Yes. Great specific tip from the source here. That discomfort often happens because people try to twist before they lengthen. You need to create space between the vertebrae first. So the technique is inhale, lengthen your spine upwards, feel that space. Then exhale and twist into that space. It makes a huge difference.
Lengthen first, then twist. Okay, this whole spine section really feels central. And there was that quote.
Well, you're only as young as your spine is flexible.
Yeah.
It really captures how vital spine health is for just overall vitality, according to this guide.
It really is a memorable line. So let's try and pull this all together for you, our listener. We've explored how this guide, Just Do Yoga, presents the practice as way more than just, stretching.
It really comes across as a holistic toolkit for well-being. We've seen how it aims to impact sleep and stress by tapping into that relaxation response.
Right, the parasympathetic system.
How it functions like a physical pump for your immune system's lymphatic drainage. How it offers concrete ways to combat the aches and pains of modern life, especially office work, improving posture and comfort.
And how it can be a legitimate path to fitness, toning, and body confidence, but only when combined with things like mindful eating and proper technique.
Exactly. And how all these different threads seem to tie back to the health and flexibility of the spine, that underlying practice of being present, of tuning your focus inward. It's framed as a way to navigate modern challenges by rediscovering the resources you already have inside.
So coming back to that musk deer at the beginning, this deep dive into Just Do Yoga really seems to reinforce that core idea. Maybe everything you genuinely need for a wonderful, healthy, happy life is already within you.
And yoga, practiced consistently, mindfully, can be the way you learn to see that. The way you tap into your own inherent greatness and unlock that potential.
So here's a final thought, maybe a provocative one, drawn from the guide's perspective to leave you with.
Okay.
It makes a really strong case for this deep connection between the physical state of your body, especially your spine's health and flexibility, and your mental and emotional happiness. Could it be that the simplest, most direct route to feeling more peace, more contentment, tapping into that inner wellspring, isn't some grand external quest, but maybe it's just about learning to be present right here, right now, tending to the body you already inhabit, even if it's just for a few minutes each day?
That's a powerful question to consider. As the source itself suggests, maybe sometimes, when all else fails,
just do yoga.
Or perhaps just remembering that other simple truth from the guide, that a positive attitude, a genuine smile, really is your most attractive feature, is a pretty great place to start too.